detail on the next two Wednesday nights, this one and the next one, really tying up Ephesians 5:33 that says, however, each one of you must also love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband. In other words, he's talking about the husbands loving their wife, how to love your wife, and how the wife must respect her husband. That's what we're going to get into tonight. We're going to hit some really briefly. We're going to hit some spots about this. Okay, and let me show you what I'm talking about. Just give you an overview of where we're going in this. How to love your wife, and we use the word couple to talk about how we do that: closeness, openness, understanding, peacemaking, loyalty, and esteem. So that's how to love your wife. And we're going to start out with there. Then we're going to end with, well, how can the wife then respect her husband? And that comes up with the acronym CHAIRS: conquest, hierarchy, authority, insight, relationship, and sexuality. These simple words we're going to really hit real quick. There's a lot more depth there, and just didn't want to take all the time to do that, because seriously, we probably can only hit about 3 a week if we went into great detail. So I'm not going to go into great detail on those. So I just want to hit them one at a time, and we'll start with that first one. Okay. Closeness. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. That's Genesis 2:24. And so when we're talking about how we can how we can become close with our wife, the Hebrew word literally there in Genesis, shall cleave to his wife. Cleaving in Hebrew literally means cling, or to hold, or to keep close. But it also means a spiritual and emotional closeness. What's interesting is in Deuteronomy 24:5, we get these instructions. When a man takes a new wife, he shall not go out with the army, nor be charged with any duty. He shall be free at home 1 year, and shall give happiness to his wife whom he has taken. So the Israelites understood, even in the first year of marriage, it is fundamental that set the tone for the closeness of the relationships. The generals knew that this was part of being a man of honor, that you spend that first year of life with your wife being close. So here's some ideas. Okay, your wife will feel close to you when you hold her hand, when you hug her, when you're with her alone so you can focus on each other and laugh together, when you go for a walk or jog or anything together, or you make it a priority to spend time with her, or you suggest the unexpected. So these are the things that will help you to be close to your wife. Okay, the next one, remember, COUPLE, couple. The next word is openness. Your wife feels you are open to her when, and we will hit these real quick. You share your feelings, tell about your day in difficulty. Yeah, I know what you're saying. What do I have to? Yes, tell about your day. Or you say, let's talk. Let's ask her what she's feeling and ask her opinion. Or your face shows that you want to talk. You pray with her. That shows that you are open, that you're willing to pray. Remember, praying with each other and praying with each other, you're being vulnerable. So you are being open when you pray. Okay, you give your full attention to her. How can you show that you're loving her? You're open and you're giving full attention, which means you're not reading, you're not watching TV, you're not on your phone when you're with her. You put all that stuff away, you focus on her. And you want to know a big one, you discuss financial concerns, possible job changes, or ideas for the future. If you really want to speak the love language of your wife, you become open. You start discussing those things, then you literally are an open book. The next one's understanding. How do we love our wives? Well, we're understanding. Bottom line, this is difficult for us. Don't try to fix her. Just listen. Don't try to fix, just listen. 1 Peter 3:7 says, live with your wives in an understanding way. In other words, simply listen. And this doesn't happen by chance, and it's a choice, and it really needs to be planned. So for you to listen, okay? She will feel you're trying to understand when this happens. You listen and you repeat back what she said, sort of as what we call reflective listening. you reflect back what you just heard her say. Second, another thing, she'll know that you understand when you don't try to fix her problems unless she specifically asks. Or another one, you try to identify her feelings. Try to pick up on, again, what she's saying, and she may not be telling you her feelings, but you pick up on them. You say, I understand. You act like you're frustrated or you're mad, whatever. And you never dismiss her feelings, no matter how illogical they may seem to you. No matter if you've been there, right? As a guy, we've been there. We go, they don't understand. Why are you feeling this way? People feel. We can't think they're illogical, okay? So don't dismiss her feelings. And another thing, to help her understand that you understand, you say, I appreciate you sharing that with me. And you don't interrupt her when she's trying to tell you how she feels. And you apologize, admit when you were wrong. I know that's difficult, but that will show her that you're understanding, okay? You cut her some slack once a month. Not going to go into detail there, but you should understand what I'm talking about there. You see something that needs to be done and do it without a lot of hassle. And maybe every now and then do it without her asking you, okay? You express your appreciation for all she does, and you pray with her and for her. That helps her know that you understand her. All right, so we've had C-O-U, now we have P, peacemaking. Research indicates that the best marriages have some conflict. It's almost if you need some degree of conflict to keep the passion there. And most of the time, the wife recognizes the conflict sooner than the husband. But the husband must not run from it. Because as you work through the conflict, you work through those tensions, your relationship's going to deepen and then deepen some more because you've gone through that, right? So she'll feel at peace with you when this happens. You let her vent her frustrations and hurts, and don't get angry and don't close her off. Let her vent, but don't get angry. Don't close her off. She'll feel at peace also when you admit you're wrong and apologize by saying, I'm sorry. Will you forgive me? She'll feel at peace when you understand her natural desire to negotiate, compromise, defer, whatever. You meet her halfway, okay? Another way she feels that there's peace there, you try to keep your relationship up to date, resolving the unresolved and never saying, forget it. Never saying, forget it. Another one, you forgive her for any wrongs she confesses. You never nurse bitterness and always reassure her of your love. You pray with her after a hurtful time. So that's how you can have peace. And that's what she needs. And that's how you are able to love her, by showing peace. Loyalty is the next one. She needs to know you're committed. Your wife knows she is a one-man woman. This is for the majority of the women out there. Vast majority of research indicates she knows she's a one-man woman, but she needs to know that you're a one-woman man. So don't take off that wedding ring. Keep it there. It's there for a reason. So don't take it off. And if you have to take it off for work or whatever, put it back on. And don't use the D word. Malachi 2:15-16. Hasn't the one God made the two of you one also? Both of you belong to him in body and spirit. And why has the one God made you one? Because he wants his children to be like him. So be careful. Don't be unfaithful to the wife you married when you were young. Suppose a man hates and divorces his wife, said the Lord God of Israel. Then he is harming the one he should protect, says the Lord who rules over all. So be careful. Don't be unfaithful. Robertson McQuilkin left as president of Columbia Bible College some years ago, and it was Bible College and seminary. He had been there 22 years, and he left because of his wife had Alzheimer's. He said when he made that decision, it was made in a way really 42 years earlier, when he had promised to take care for his wife Muriel in sickness and in health till death do us part. And he said he wanted to be a man of his word and to be fair. His wife had cared for him sacrificially for 42 years. And he said, if I care for her for the next 40 years, I still would not be out of her debt, is what he said. Now, his decision, when it got out, it sort of reverberated around the country in certain circles. And he was surprised at the attention he got. And it wasn't until he talked to an oncologist who dealt daily with dying people who told him this: almost all women stand by their men. Very few men stand by their women. So she's assured of your loyalty when this happens. You speak highly of her in front of others. In other words, you're bragging about her. You are involved in things that are important to her. You don't correct her in front of the kids. You make her and your marriage a priority. You don't have roaming eyes. Enough said, right? You tell the kids, don't speak to your mother that way. You call and let her know your plans. You keep your commitments. You speak positively of her and the children at all times. That's how she'll know you're loyal. And that's what's that doing? That's communicating love to her. Esteem is the last one. She wants you to honor and cherish her. 1 Peter 3:7 again says, show her honor as a fellow heir of the grace of life. And actually it says, though his prayers will not be hindered. The whole passage, I'm going to read the whole passage. Husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives and treat them with respect as the weaker partner and as heirs with you of the gracious gift of life, so that nothing will hinder your prayers. Now, a lot's been made about that weaker partner phrase in there, but basically saying she's vulnerable. She's vulnerable. And it's tied, our prayers as men, our prayers being answered are tied to how we esteem our wife. So that has huge implications. Has huge implications for our own spiritual life. If we esteem her, right, because she's a fellow heir of the grace of life, we esteem her, then our prayers will not be hindered. So your wife will feel esteemed when you say, I'm proud of the way you handled that. You speak highly of her in front of others. You open the door for her. You give her encouragement or praise with kindness and enthusiasm. You know, something different about her hair or clothes. Hopefully it's something positive, right? You show affection in public. You value her opinion in the gray areas. You make her feel first in importance. And you're proud of her and all that she does. So that's what men need to do to love their wives. Well, what about wives? How do you spell respect to your husband? And it's spelled chairs, Chairs. Conquest, hierarchy, authority, insight, relationship, sexuality. Okay, so we'll take these one at a time, just like we did for the men looking at how to love our wives. How does a wife respect her husband? Recognize conquest, okay, for God. But there's a natural inborn desire of a man to go out and conquer the challenges of his world, to work and achieve. And so, you know, what's our first question? If we're, as guys, we go around and go, you know, what do you do? What do you do? That's our question. So how will the husband feel that you appreciate his desire to work and achieve? Well, when you tell him verbally or in writing that you value his work efforts, you express your faith in him related to his chosen field. You listen to his work stories as closely as you expect him to listen to the accounts of your day. You see yourself as a helpmate and counterpart and talk with him about this whenever possible. You allow him to dream. You don't dishonor or subtly criticize his work in the field to get him to show more love in the family. That's a big one, isn't it? Okay. Hierarchy is the next word. This is really an appreciation for the man's desire to protect and provide. The biblical hierarchy is Ephesians 5:22-24. Wives, submit yourselves to your own husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit to their husbands in everything. Now, submit right here means to rank under or place under, and God is giving husbands tremendous responsibility, right? Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her to make her holy, cleansing her by the washing with water through the word, and to present her to himself as a radiant church without stain or wrinkle or any blemish, but holy and blameless. The husband has the awesome responsibility to love like Jesus. Now, biblically, the wife is called to place herself under that protection. This is not male superiority. The wife is subject to her husband and then under his protection. The husband loves his wife and would be willing to die for her. The last thing he would ever want to do is to take advantage of her, put her down, or treat her as inferior of any kind. One wife said this, I want him to be the head. I just want to know he has my needs in his heart. See, your husband will appreciate his desire Your husband will feel that you appreciate his desire to protect and provide when you do this as a wife. You verbalize your admiration of him for protecting you and being willing to die for you. You praise his commitment to provide for and protect you and the family. You empathize when he reveals his male mindset about position, status, rank, or being one up or being one down, particularly at work. You never mock the idea of looking up to him as your protector to prevent him from looking down on you. You never, in word or body or language, put down his job or how much he makes. You quietly and respectfully voice concerns about finances and try to offer solutions on where you might be able to cut spending. The next one is A, authority. Appreciate his desire to serve and lead. What did Paul mean when he said Christians should submit one to another? They should submit to each other. It's really about love and respect still. That's really what it is. If a husband and wife have a conflict over how to spend money, for example, the husband submits to his wife by meeting her need to feel that he loves her in spite of the conflict. He submits to her need for love. On the other hand, the wife submits to her husband during the conflict by meeting her husband's need to feel that she respects him in spite of the unresolved issue. She submits to his need for respect. If husband and wife approach each other with a love and respect connection in mind, all will be well in the marriage, even if the decision appears to be stalemated, because we're practicing that love and respect, even in the midst of a conflict. So how will the husband feel that you appreciate his authority and leadership? Well, when you tell him you're thankful for his strength and enjoy being able to lean on him at times. You support his self-image as a leader. You never say you're responsible, but we're still equal, so don't make a decision I don't agree with. You praise his good decisions. You're gracious if he makes a bad decision. You disagree with him in private and honor his authority in front of the kids. You give your reasons for disagreeing quietly and reasonably, but never attack his right to lead. The next letter in chairs is insight. Appreciate his desire to analyze and counsel. You see, in many instances, a man uses his abilities at work, but isn't asked for his insight at home. So since he gets respect at work, it's no wonder that he may stay longer at work. And it's no wonder if he's not getting that respect at home that he has those roaming eyes and a coworker and he may get involved in something. So your husband will feel you appreciate his insight and counsel when you do this. You tell him up front, you just need his ear. Don't complain to him later that he always tries to fix him. Okay. You thank him for his advice without acting insulted or like he doesn't care about your feelings. You recognize his problem-solving approach as his male brand of empathy. You realize your vulnerabilities, especially among males, and value his protection. You counsel him respectfully when you differ with his ideas. You sometimes let him fix things and applaud solutions. Let him know that you believe God has made male and female for a purpose and that we need each other. You admit that you can sin and thank him for his perception and godly counsel. Relationship is the next one. Men communicate by sharing experiences. Women communicate by talking about them, but men like to share an activity. Why do some guys play golf with foursomes and fivesomes, right? Because they're sharing an activity. So when your husband asks you would you just sit down and watch TV? You're actually doing nothing, but actually it's doing something for the man. So your husband will feel you value his shoulder-to-shoulder friendship, shared friendship, when you tell him you like him and show it. When he'll value that shoulder-to-shoulder friendship when you respond to his invitation to engage in recreational activities together or just go with him. Or you enable him to open up and talk to you as you do things side by side, shoulder to shoulder. Or you encourage him to spend time alone, which energizes him to reconnect with you later. You don't denounce his shoulder-to-shoulder activities with his male friends to get him to spend more time face-to-face time with you. Respect his friendships, and he'll be more likely to want you to join him shoulder-to-shoulder at other times. The last one in chairs is no surprise. It's sexuality. And here's a rule that never changes. You can't get what you need by depriving your partner of what your partner needs. Remember, men are responsive to what they see. That's the deal. He will feel you appreciate his desire for sexual intimacy when you respond to him sexually more often and periodically initiate. You understand that he needs sexual release just as you need emotional release. Both have needs, right? You don't try to make him open up to you verbally by depriving him. So there are these are some ideas about how we can love our wives and respect our husbands. They're not the end all be all, but I hope it's a starting point. I hope it gives you some ideas about what you can do to love your wife, and what you as wives can do to respect your husband. Hope you picked up on some of those, maybe one or two things that you can go, oh, yeah, I should be doing that. Okay. Next Wednesday, what we're going to do is we're going to wrap up this love and respect thing by looking at the energizing cycle and the rewarding cycle. Remember, the crazy cycles when we don't love and we don't respect and we keep going around that crazy cycle. So we're going to talk in a little more detail about the energizing cycle and the rewarding cycle. So I hope that you'll be able to tune in and look at that next week. But we're going to close out our relationship goals this Sunday. Dr. McKay will take us through our last in the series on Sunday morning. You can catch it live worship, all three services, 8:15, 9:45, and 11. Plus, we have an online experience at 6:30 on Sunday night, online experience at 6:30 on Monday night as well. So you can catch it a number of ways, and I hope you will. And God bless you. Again, stay safe. And don't forget, college football Saturday, right? Yeah, thanks. See ya.